So last week, ESPN posed a question asking who was the greatest two-sport athlete of all time: Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. Right into it, Sticks. Who you going with?
Me personally, I'm going with Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Prime off the ripper. But Bo has a strong argument.
Mm-hmm.
Now, well, is it that strong, those Sticks? I don't know if it's even really that. First off, it's Prime. Prime is the
Okay.
out of these two people, Prime is the better two-sport athlete.
What other
He
two
had
people were there?
well, no, there wasn't out of these two because there's been other people who have played dual sports.
Who in the pros? Name them.
Yes,
Name
Charlie.
them.
Oh no, you know what? You're right because Charlie Ward definitely didn't. He played in the NBA. He didn't play in the NFL. Did he play in the
Exactly.
NFL?
No,
He played
he
football at
chose to
Florida
play
State, but
basketball.
he chose to play back. Okay, you're right. Okay, bet. So between Prime and Bo, Prime is definitely the better two sport athlete. He had a way better football career.
Mm-hmm.
Had a way better football career, and that's mainly because Bo was limited with injuries, and he was in a terrible organization with the Raiders at the time. They got better, but when he was there, they were not a good organization. They were
Mm-hmm.
kind of holding Bo back. Bo actually did a good job while he was there. He made Marcus Allen move to fullback so he can be the feature back. He had a really good career when he was actually playing.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you're looking at the baseball field, their careers in baseball are very, 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 very similar.
Right.
Very similar. The only thing that Bo has on Dion is home runs, but that's just because Dion wasn't a power hitter. He was a base hitter. He
Right.
was a situational hitter. But when it comes to a lot of different things like own base percentage, wins above replacement, they're very close, very
Mm-hmm.
very close.
Deion has
When
more
you look at them,
skills.
Dion has a way more, 100 more steals.
Right.
But whenever you look at the stats, Bo had a better career in baseball, but Dion is not too far behind at all.
You think so?
Yeah, because when you look, because it's two different positions though. Like they were both really good outfield defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Dion was a better base runner,
Mm-hmm.
but Bo was a better hitter.
It's
They
okay.
played almost the same amount. I'm gonna read the stats off to you real quick before you do that. Dion played 641 games. Bo played 694.
Mm-hmm.
Dion had 2,100 at bats. Bo had 2,300 at bats.
Mm-hmm.
Dion scored 308 runs. Bo scored 341. 558 hits for Dion. 598 hits for Bo.
Uh-huh.
415 RBIs for Bo. 168 for Dion. 159 walks for Dion. 200 walks for Bo. Strikeouts 841 for Bo. That's because he was up there just swinging at everything.
Mm-hmm.
352 strikeouts for Dion. 39 home runs for Dion. 141 home runs for Bo. 186 steals for Dion. 82 steals for Bo. Even though Bo was a fast dude at his size,
And
he
that's
just
why
didn't have
that's
really good.
surprising to me.
Exactly. But he just didn't have really good base running knowledge. Like he was just running just to be running sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I was looking at some highlights at him trying to steal bases. He would be inching to go and the pitcher still looking at him like, nigga, are you really moving? Like, what the hell are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, and he'd just take off while the pitcher looking at him and he'd just get thrown out. Like, bro,
Yeah.
he could have had way more steals if he had better base running knowledge. But he was so fast and so big that he was just naturally good at the sport. I think both of them were naturally good at the sport. I also think Dion was also better at the sport.
At football.
But
Baseball.
at baseball. But their careers are very oddly similar, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And so
Other than
to
the
me,
hitting stats, but they're very
to,
oddly similar.
to me, that's a wash, honestly. I'm gonna say it's
Yeah,
a wash.
100%.
Yeah, yeah.
Very much
Baseball
a
is a
wash.
wash. And
Yeah.
so you you finish? Continue if you ain't.
You done?
Continue if you
Are
ain't.
you done?
Yeah, are
No,
you done?
I'm good. You can move it. You can
All
move
right,
it. Go
so
ahead.
I think my initial thought, without even doing any research, was, oh yeah, Prime all day. Just because
Mhm.
Prime, Deion Sanders, one, we know him. I had a poster in my room. The was it? I can't even remember now. I had it in my fucking room. Excuse my language. Oh, water covers 1/3 of the earth. Deion covers the rest, or 2/3 of the earth. Deion covers the rest.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
I had that poster in my room.
Mm-hmm.
The Deion Sanders shoes. I mean, because we're gonna talk about the totality of everything. I mean, Bo Jackson had his own shoes too,
Yeah,
and
he had
those
his own
are
shit too.
those are in the culture as well. But Dion had the
Mm-hmm.
shoes. Dion had the bandana that everybody wore back in the day underneath their helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Dion had
Mm-hmm.
the sweatband on his neck, the Jerry
Mm-hmm.
curl that was look wet, but it was dry.
He did say that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
He
Prime
did say
had all that. He said when he was getting drafted, he glad he went to Atlanta because if Detroit was going to draft him, he's going to ask for so much money that they had to put him on layaway. Dion, Dion just had all that stuff, and
mm-hmm.
without seeing him play, you knew who Dion was because of all that.
100%.
But
Mm-hmm.
then you look at the stats, you look at the film. Unfortunately, Bo Jackson had a short NFL career. He played 6
Unfortunately.
seasons,
Mm-hmm.
and had he had a longer career, we may be talking differently. And so, the sample size that he had in the NFL, it was a good sample size. He played 38 games, 515 rushes, 2,782 yards, 16 touchdowns. That's fairly decent for 6
Very,
seasons.
very decent for
I
6 seasons.
mean, but since we said baseball is a wash, Deion Sanders was a way better football player because
Way better football
he
player.
played more positions and
Mm-hmm.
he was dominant. He was dominant specifically at DB,
On
but at punt return, kick return, and receiver,
Low key dominant there too. I ain't gonna lie.
he excelled in those positions. I'm not gonna say he was
Definitely
dominant,
excel.
but he
Yeah.
excelled in those positions as well. But what makes Dion just that deal is in a league that wasn't as pass happy as it is now, he had 24 interceptions in his first 5 seasons. 24 interceptions. So I looked up, this is a stat that I looked up. I looked up what was the average passing attempts back in the day. And I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get a collective of the average passing attempts, but what I
Mm-hmm.
could see was the top passing attempts by quarterback. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do all that math of putting all those numbers in, but I saw that from 1989 to 1994, the average, the top 5 or 6 passers, they were around 550 passing attempts per game. I mean, I'm sorry,
First, first
per
season.
year, per season,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Compared to nowadays, the top 5 is around 600, almost 700 passing attempts per season.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they play 16 games back then. That's an
Mm-hmm.
average of 30, 40, 30 passing attempts a game,
34.
34 passing attempts a game. And so Prime had 24 picks from 34 pass attempts per, and an average league pass 34 passing attempts a game. To
Mm-hmm.
now, if he played, if he had the same production, he probably would have in the first 5 seasons of his career, he probably would have somewhere like 40, almost 50
They
picks a game.
they're averaging 41 pass attempts a year this year. I mean, like
Crazy.
recently, over the past 5 years, they've been averaging 41 pass attempts a
41.
game each season. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
it's just
that's eight more than what it was. Well, seven more, a little bit more than seven more than what it was back in from 89 to 94.
right. And on top of the fact that he had those 24, it's been rumored that in those seasons, coaches told quarterbacks to not even look to Dion's side. Like if he's
Facts.
over there, don't look that way. You throw the other way. Your reads are on this side, and he still had 24 picks. Where does that? I mean, that is dominance. So
Straight dominant.
in my eyes, Deion Sanders, just from football alone, and because baseball is a wash between him and Bo Jackson, is the greatest two-way athlete of all time.
And we ain't even talk about. We talk about DB. We talked
Hmm.
about punt return, kick return. We ain't even talk about him playing receiver
Yep.
because the man had 60 catches, 784 yards, and 3 touchdowns over his career as well. He played both sides of the ball. Dion, of course, Dion was an amazing athlete, and so was Bo Jackson. But Bo Jackson didn't play linebacker. Bo
Right.
Jackson was a running back, and that's
Right.
all he was a running back. So, and he didn't even he had no 1,000-yard rushing seasons.
Mhm.
because he was plagued by injuries and he was plagued by a terrible organization at the time. So
Mhm.
like we could be like D'Lo said, we could be having a different conversation if Bo had a longer career and had a more standout career and was maybe with a different organization, maybe. But this argument is head over heels Deion Sanders, 100%.
All day.
Head over heels Deion Sanders all day, every day.
Yep. Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, I know ESPN just trying to get some type of interaction with the fans, but I don't even know why they
Nah,
put this
facts.
out. Because if
They
you,
should, they should, they
yeah,
should have.
yeah, because if you
But
really
people ain't
dig
got their
into it,
favorites, you know. Yeah.
yeah, of course, yeah, obviously. But if you really dig into it, it's like, damn, it's Dion without even a thought. But
Flying colors. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's a landslide Deion Sanders, 100%.
yeah.
Thank you so much for watching the video. If you've gotten this far, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. Also, you can find us on all your streaming platforms wherever you find your podcast.